Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
What would a post-TITV 8A be without some shots of steak and beans? For the first time in 6 years, though, the Crimson team had steak following their performance in Saturday's 8A game. The White team, on the other hand, Franks and beans. J.K. Scott kicked the game-winning field goal for the Crimson team, even though he was actually on the White team, in the final seconds of the game to top that White team 27-24. A little confusion with the teams who played where. That's 8A. But no confusion here. I'm Brandon Kamerman. This is Rodney Orr. Welcome into Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock, the proud provider of Pepsi Cola. Saturday's 8A game had a lot for us to digest. Big performances by freshmen, long passes, that was nice to see, a pick six, 12 total sacks in the game. Here's some of what the players had to say following Saturday's 8A game.
The young guys played with poise. They played like I knew they was going to play. They make big plays, and I expect them to do that this season.
I had to see what we need to improve on and where we can go from here, so just take steps with that.
We just need to improve in all aspects of the game, passing game, running game, all of it. We need to get better. That's the goal.
So much to take in with 8A. There's a lot that happened. Obviously, quarterbacks, I think, were a big topic of conversation for people. What were some of your biggest takeaways from 8A's game?
Well, I thought, first of all, when you looked at it, we've talked about all the players they've lost on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of young talent out there on both sides of the ball. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the thing is a matter of how quickly can this team, over the course of the summer and fall camp, develop, as a team. And I think when you look at it, talent-wise, they've got a lot of really incredible young talent. I mean, that's the thing that really jumped out at me. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a group of freshmen come in and perform at that high of a level in a spring game, not since I've been watching it here. Just extremely impressive.
Yeah, after the game, Coach Saban said, this team's not yet elite. And you wouldn't expect that at this point in the season. Again, they still have all of fall camp to hopefully get to that elite status. But you mentioned it. There are the pieces in place to get them back to where they've been for the past decade.
Yeah, I think if you look at it on the offensive side, obviously they've got to shore up the right side, the right guard, right tackle spot, get that solidified. If they can do that, they should be really good up front. Obviously, they're loaded at running back. They've got at least two really good quarterbacks, but only one of them has some experience, obviously Jalen Hurts, but they've got some wide receivers. That is a spot that they really wanted to kind of step up this spring. You had Calvin Ridley back, but really nobody proven otherwise. Robert Foster's kind of been up and down, and now he had a really good spring, had a big day the other day in the 8A game. And also I think, obviously, Jerry Jeudy was MVP, did a fantastic job, the true freshman. He shows that he's got the chance to be a real star player too. So I think that was key. On the defensive side, you're replacing so many guys, but it was good to see Raekwon Davis and Quentin Williams, two young defensive linemen, step up and show that they may be really big factors this year, because they're going to need those guys in terms of depth. A lot of really young, good linebackers. The secondary, I think clearly you've got to get that left corner spot solidified. Trevon Diggs, I think, is a guy that has a lot of potential, a lot of ability. He's still learning, but you could see out there that he was a guy that certainly that has the skills. He did get beat a few times, but some of those balls were really, really well thrown. There, Aaron Robinson was beaten on that play by T.J. Simmons, who made a great catch, and it was a great throw by Tua. But those guys were really competing hard. I thought number 39 there, Levi Wallace, had a good game too at corner. I thought, you've got some guys to work with. I don't think there's any question about that. I feel pretty confident that Jeremy Pruitt and the staff on the defensive side of the ball will do a very good job in getting these guys ready for the season.
That's on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, we said in the preview leading up to 8A, they were going to run some vanilla stuff. Obviously, they're not going to show any kinks that they might end up using this fall. Did you learn anything from Brian Dable and what we might see a little more of in the offense?
Well, I think it was kind of what we had talked about even before spring. What we expected was this: he's going to utilize all of his personnel. He's going to utilize the running backs out of the backfield as receivers. I thought we saw that some with Josh Jacobs, who I think is going to do a fantastic job in a really versatile role as a runner and as a receiver. I think Najee Harris showed hands the other day, really good hands. He had 70 yards rushing as well. And I really think Brian Robinson, the other freshman, true freshman who played throughout the spring, showed some good hands and ability as a runner too. Of course, you know, you did not have Bo Scarborough, you didn't have B.J. Emmons, nor did you have Damian Harris, but those other three guys did a really good job. Really deep core running backs if you can get them all healthy.
We talked a lot about how Brian Daboll, again, came from being a tight ends coach at New England, and obviously a lot of talented tight ends, even though they lost O.J. Howard. There were fans who complained that maybe O.J. Howard didn't get the ball enough while he was at Alabama. Again, only the 8A game, but did you get a sense that maybe we'll see the tight ends more involved?
Yeah, you know, and I think O.J. caught 45 passes last year, which isn't too bad. So, but yeah, I think when you look at Irv Smith, he made some really nice plays down the field catching the ball. I really like Irv Smith, number 82, and Miller Forstall as well. He's a guy that I know that they took a shot down the field with, and he came up with a big play. There you see Irv Smith. That was one of his bigger plays in the 8A game. So I like those guys. Obviously, Hell Hinches is back. Major Tennyson's a young freshman that went through spring practice and got a lot of potential. So, yeah, I think Brian Daboll, again, going back to what your previous question about utilizing all the different personnel, utilizing the backs as receivers, utilizing the tight ends, I think you're going to see that.
We'll just have to speculate over the next few months while we have no football to actually watch. Well, still to come on Tighter Insider Television, the 2016 captains made their mark on the field, and on Saturday made their marks on Alabama concrete. Plus, big fat rings. Alabama received their 2016 SEC championship rings. We'll give you a look. And coming up, we're welcoming your phone calls, emails, tweets. You see it all right there on the screen. Get a hold of us. Rodney and I will take your calls in just a few minutes. TITV will return right after the break.
Crazy how this is going out. Just want to say thank you, man. We got the best fans in the world.
And I just want to say thank you for everything and Roll Tide.
It was a blessing to be a part of this family, a tradition.
I want to thank all the fans out here, man. Y'all, man, I'm going to miss this so much. I'm going to miss this so much, man.
Jonathan Allen, Eddie Jackson, Reuben Foster, and Cam Robinson are now all printed into the cement around Denny Chimes. The annual Walk of Fame ceremony honored those 2016 captains prior to Saturday's 8A game. Then just last night, before the steak and beans dinner, players from last year received their 2016 SEC championship rings. The rings mark the Tide's third straight SEC championship win, second straight over Florida. Welcome back to TITV. I'm Brandon Kamerman alongside Rodney Orr. One of those players who played in both those SEC championship wins over Florida is cornerback Marlon Humphrey. Marlon's getting ready for the NFL draft, but his father, Bobby, of course, an all-time great here at Bama, talked about his son finally getting a chance to live out his professional dream.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, both for Marlon and for our family, to be able to enjoy this here. It only happens once. So we're preparing to have a great time for the next 7 days, and hopefully on next Thursday night we'll hear his name called and be excited about whoever he's going to start his professional career with.
Rodney, the draft's 2 days away. There are a million mock drafts out there. Of course, we've heard the speculation that Alabama could have as many as 6 players taken in the first round. I'm not going to ask you who you think's going to go in the first round because that's all out there for people to learn about. I want to ask you who you think has the most potential at the next level.
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think when you look at it, it's the guys Jonathan Allen and Reuben Foster, obviously, and O.J. Howard. I mean, those guys to me probably, would be the 3 that would come to mind the fastest. And I think Cam Robinson as well. I mean, obviously all those guys are great players. Marlon Humphrey is a guy that, I understand that the decision to go, he was projected as a first-round draft pick, and, hopefully he goes in the first round, and he has all the tools. When you talk about the speed, got good length on his arms, and, so he's certainly there. But I'll tell you a guy, too, that don't sleep on Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean, he's not going to be a first-round draft pick, but he's going to be a good football player because when you talk about work ethic, I mean, his is second to none. And Ardarius Stewart, I think he's going to be a good pick for somebody, whatever round it is, third or whatever round it is. I think Ardarius is a really tough receiver, tough player, and willing to block and do all the other things. So I think all those guys are going to really do well.
Rodney, we hope the best for all of these guys. You follow recruiting better than anybody around here. How important do you think For these players, you know, the number isn't that important if they have 6 guys, 5 guys in the first round. But does that have an impact on the 17, 16-year-old kids who are looking and say, man, they sent that many players to the NFL?
It definitely has an impact. Definitely has an impact. I mean, when you talk to these kids and you do interviews, you know, one of the first things that they'll say is, you know, well, what is it that you like about Alabama? And it's, well, first of all, they develop their players. You know, they have a great program. They have, you know, the best coach, Coach Saban, and they put the guys, they prepare them to go to the NFL, and they put them in the league, and when they get there, they're successful. So that's all because of the preparation that they get here and the development that they get here at Alabama. So that's what the kids are saying, you know, when they're being recruited. So obviously it has a great impact.
All right, so in a few days, Dalvin Tomlinson will have his new team. But last week, the big defensive tackle teamed up with IndyCar driver Ryan Hunter-Reay to promote the Honda Steam Connections Tour. Tomlinson, who's been known to have a wide range of interests, said he's always been interested in engineering. But right now, he's, of course, just focused on the draft.
I came pretty far since last year because I feel like I upped my game last season. And I've been playing a whole lot better football. I understand a lot more things on the field. And it's always been a dream to play in the NFL. And the dream's pretty close, so I'm going to continue to pursue it and work hard day in, day out.
Sure is fun to see a man that big fit in a car that small. When we return, the Crimson Tide adds a quick offensive lineman to the 2019 recruiting class we'll discuss. And next, we're welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. You see it right there on your screen. Give us a call, send us a tweet. We'll be here. That's next on TITV. Well, enough 8A. Let's talk 2019 Crimson Tide. Bama received a commitment from Hewitt-Trussville's Pierce Quick, a 6'5", 280-pound offensive lineman. Yes, it's a couple years away, but the young football player said he is shutting down his recruiting, fully committed to the Crimson Tide. Rodney, some quick thoughts on Quick.
Just a really good player, another great offensive lineman. They've recruited a lot of really good ones, and Pierce Quick's going to be one of the best in the 2019 class. So good way to, you know, keep that class rolling. It's already off to a pretty good start.
All right, that's good to hear. Well, let's go to the phone lines. We'll talk to Mary from Tuscaloosa. Mary, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Well, Jerry Jeudy get some playing time this season since the 8A game showed his performance.
Yeah, Mary, if you saw Jerry Jeudy Saturday, yeah, you would probably have to say he's probably going to play some. I think when you look at Alabama's wide receiver core, you know, obviously Calvin Ridley's back, and we know all about him. Robert Foster is just, hopefully this is his year to really kind of turn it up, to play it up to his potential, which hopefully he will. And there's Jerry Jeudy, number 4 right there. True freshman, Deerfield Beach, Florida, one of the top high school players in the country last year. Had a really good day the other day, made a couple of really big-time catches. And, yeah, I think that Jerry Jeudy has got a chance to really have a good, significant impact on this offensive team.
Yeah, a quick note on it, you know, Tua Tagovailoa is not the starter. Jalen Hurts is the starter. But I will say, it seemed that there was a clear relationship there between Jeudy and Tagovailoa, both early enrollee freshmen.
Well, you know, and the thing about it is those two guys have actually, they threw to each other a lot in these combines and these different events that they went to, so they know each other really well. And, of course, they've been with each other now 15 practices, so you kind of saw it there. But still, you don't really see true freshmen do those kinds of things. And I understand everything. It's just a spring game and it's plain vanilla and all that stuff. But it was still really impressive to see.
Pretty incredible. Rick from Bluff Park, we're going to take your call. How you doing, Rick?
Hey, fellas. Appreciate you taking my call. How y'all doing this evening?
Doing great.
Good deal. I'd like to ask about Terrell Shavers, the big, tall wide receiver from Texas. What's your input about him? What kind of upside does he have, Rodney? Also, any injuries that may have happened. I know Forrestall went out in the first half. This kid's going to be good. He's got wide receiver hands. I mean, he's going to be top notch if he can stay healthy. And also, fast get well to Gary. Brandon, you're doing a wonderful job. Just keep up the good work and everything. Gary, we miss you, buddy. Y'all have a good evening, fellas.
Thanks, Rick. And good news on Gary, first off, is he is doing a lot better, getting really good results from his doctor. Should be back soon.
Yeah. Well, just a quick injury update. And we really don't have, I haven't gotten anything official, but I do think Aaron Robinson's okay. He did leave, but I think he's going to be okay. I think it's just minor injuries that he can overcome. And then, yeah, Miller Forrestall actually spoke to the media afterwards. He'll be fine. As far as Terrell Shavers goes, the true freshman from Louisville, Texas, who enrolled early. You're right, he's a big guy, I think 6'5", maybe 6'6". He's put on some weight since he's been here. He's over 200 pounds now. And, you know, when I look at Terrell Shavers, it's just me. I mean, you know, who knows? We haven't heard anything from Coach Saban about what his progress has been. But when you look at him and you start kind of envisioning him, you wonder, is he that guy that's going to get, really bigger? Maybe. You never know how these guys are going to fill out and eventually kind of blossom. And at 205, 210, whatever he is now, what if he gains another 20 pounds? I mean, he's a guy that could be, you just don't know what he could end up being. Maybe an H-back, tight end type guy. He's a very athletic guy and had pretty good speed coming out of high school. So I think Terrell Shavers has definitely got a future.
All right, we'll go to John in Bessemer. John, how are you doing?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to find out about that new quarterback coming from Hawaii. Is he going to be real good, what people say, or what, later?
Thank you, John.
Well, John, I mean, he certainly has shown this spring that he has all the tools to be an outstanding player, Tua Tagovailoa, and you watch a true freshman come in, and he's pretty advanced, I would say, as far as true freshmen go from what we've been able to see. I thought he really looked good Saturday in the first half. Of course, now again, I'll say this. The defense was plain vanilla in the second half. They kind of started running some blitzes and coming after him, putting some pressure on him, and there was a little more difficulty there for the quarterbacks to execute. But, I really like what I see from number 13. I think he's got a chance to eventually become an outstanding player, yes.
He came in with a lot of hype. A lot of people were talking about him coming in, and I would say at the very least, he didn't disappoint on A-Day.
No. He's got the Alabama fans buzzing. There's no question about that.
All right. Well, when we return, we'll check in with Alabama softball as the Tide is up in Birmingham taking on Samford, and the Alabama baseball team home at Sewell Thomas Stadium against Jacksonville State. We'll update those pair of diamond matchups and more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Give us a call. Send us a tweet. We'll be right here coming up next on TITV. Well, Deuce is wild at the Joe, 2-2 in the second inning, Alabama and Jacksonville State, and then softball's putting it on Samford, 7-0 up in Birmingham. Good to see Alabama responding from a 2-game sweep at the hands of Washington. And we'll go back to the phone lines, and we'll go over to Pelham, talk to Barry. Barry, how are you?
Doing great. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
Rodney, got a question for you. This is about a defensive line prospect from Texas that had to go the JUCO route because of his grades. I think his name was Kendrick something.
Yeah, you're talking about Hulk Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Barry, he's been in junior college. You're right about that. My guess is, and again, you never really know, he was a guy that was really recruited heavily, had a great relationship with Bo Davis, the former defensive line coach here, who obviously is now at Texas San Antonio. And just my guess is that Hulk Jones will probably end up somewhere else. That's just my guess. Anything could happen on that, Barry, but I would expect that he'll end up elsewhere.
All right, we'll stay with the phone lines. We'll go over to Talladega and talk to Fred. Fred, how are you?
All right, how y'all doing, guys?
Doing great.
My question is kind of more like a statement, but during the 8A game, I know we throw the ball a lot and got to see the downfield throw from both quarterbacks, but all three of them really. But with the stable running backs that we have right now, how much do you think that y'all think that we're going to use a balance on the offense, run, pass, or just it's going to be heavily run or heavily throw? What y'all think about?
Yeah, I think, Fred, the goal is going to be really balanced. Again, they're going to do what they do best once they create their identity, but they're going to run the ball. There's no question about that. Alabama, Nick Saban's going to run the football, and I get the sense. I don't know this, but I get the sense that they probably worked significantly on the passing game this spring. And I think that the running game is certainly, as you see them move into fall camp and all of that, they'll really emphasize that. And I think it'll be a real staple because I think they've got a chance to have a really good offensive line. They obviously got some great backs, but I think they have some quarterbacks and they're going to have some playmakers on the outside and the tight ends and the running backs, get them all involved in the passing game. I think they're going to be more balanced this year than what we saw last year. I think that's the goal, and I think you're going to see it happen.
All right, thanks for all those phone calls. We're going to go to an email next from Douglas in Western Massachusetts, and he wants to talk about field goal kicking. I'm going to read off a couple things he said because we can't fit it all up on this graphic, Rodney. He said he was absolutely appalled by the Alabama field goal kicking. Now it would appear that Alabama has a field goal kicker that can only be described as pathetic. That's not my words. Those are Douglas's words. Obviously, it wasn't the best field goal kicking performance. It is very important to remember they have a kicker coming in this fall in Joseph Bulovas.
They do. And, again, sometimes, and I don't know. Well, obviously, Andy Papanastos struggled on the two shorter kicks. And, it was hoped that maybe he could be like a Jeremy Shelley. And then, of course, here, J.K. Scott. I thought J.K. Scott did a nice job. He missed one of his kicks. But, you have to remember, he's not a guy that's really been necessarily focusing on place kicking. He's the best punter in the country. I do think that as time goes on, if he continues to work it, he could be really good at what he does, especially on the long range. And you mentioned Bulovas from Mandeville, Louisiana, Joseph Bulovas, the true freshman coming in, and he's a guy that was an All-American high school kicker. I mean, you never can really tell how they're going to transfer to the next level. Most of those guys kick off tees coming out of high school. Now they're going to be kicking off the ground, so that is a major difference. But when you look at him, he's a guy that was very successful, was really good in that All-American game. He hit a 49-yarder. So I think Coach Saban, every time this is asked, he always brings up, he's got one coming in. So he's talking about Bulovas, the freshman.
We got a lot of good players still coming in. People remember that. It's not all done here. Spring roster is going to expand. Well, still to come, one former Alabama player is coming out of retirement as another announces he's leaving football. We'll have more on both Tiders when we return. You're watching TITV on WVUA 23. Stay with us. Well, how about this potential NFL comeback? Former Alabama running back Glenn Coffey, who last played in the NFL in 2010, is trying to make a comeback. He served in the armed forces since 2010, wanted to leave football for some time. Good luck to him as he tries to get back. Meanwhile, Jake Coker, former Alabama quarterback, is deciding to leave football permanently as his career never really got going with Arizona. Well, hey, I went to the locker room last week, Rodney, and they took care of me. This shirt you're seeing, the new tie, it's all beautiful. They got great stuff. They hooked me up. They can hook you up as well. Go in downtown, locker-room.biz if you want to go online. Thanks for watching. For Rodney, I'm Brandon Kamerman. Have a great night.